Sitting close to the fire, James chewed on the meat. At the same time, he pulled out a dagger. He casually cut into one of the steaks still on the grill. The fatty juices dripped onto the fire and made a hissing sound. Cutting off a piece, James stabbed the tip of the blade into the meat and brought it to his mouth. Blowing on the hot meat, James shoved the steak into his mouth. He blew air out to try and cool it. "You could have grabbed a plate for the steak," Maya sighed as she observed James's eating habits. "But then, I'd have another thing I need to clean," James said with a boyish grin. Kate laughed as she ate a piece of steak from a plate, the bowl on the ground next to her. The bowl now only contained the stock, which Kate would sip occasionally. Already half of the giant steak was gone from a plate. With his dagger, James cut off another piece of steak. "Even though we're eating this in a forest, a dangerous place filled with monsters and death, I feel like this food tastes pretty good. Maybe not as good as the food we ate on the dining level, but still good," James commented before stuffing his face with more of the meat. Kate nodded, also having eaten another piece of steak. "There is definitely a flavor that you can only have when you eat in dangerous situations. That's on top of us trying to improve our cooking ability. Like your stock," Maya said with a smile. "Maybe we'll get good enough where we're only eating on the road." She giggled at the thought. Raising the bowl and taking a sip, James said, "We may need to do that. If what the others said about what we'll be expecting, we'll be better at making the food. I've never made a horned rabbit stew, but there seems to be a few recipes in the book." He indicated with the bowl to where the book still sat on the ground. Finishing the steak he started, James placed the bowl next to him before pulling out a piece of cloth from his belt with the numerous compartments. He used the fabric to wipe his now greasy dagger. Making sure to clean the weapon properly, he then sheathed it and then picked up the bowl. James grabbed the piece of meat still in the bowl. Instead of taking several bites, he happily ate the entire amount. He then drank some of the stock to ensure he didn't choke. "Want some more?" Maya asked. Nodding, James passed his bowl to her. Even though he wanted to sleep, he preferred getting his fill and then going to bed. It would be better to sleep with a full stomach than wake up starving and eating reheated meat. James grabbed the bowl that was filled to the brim with meat. Grabbing a piece, he ate it. After swallowing the food, James remembered the wolf. Make sure to stay alert, more than usual. There was a forest wolf that let me know that I was out there in the darkness. He grabbed another piece and took a bite, letting Maya and Kate digest what he had just told them. Kate's brows raised in surprise. "Just the one?" she asked. James nodded at Kate's question. "You didn't see it?" Maya asked, also finding it strange. "Nope," James said with a full mouth. It was as though it wanted me to know that I was there.